Welcome back to the Avenue, and guess what, you guys? We're in the month of June already. This year has flown by. We're at halftime, and you're going to be glad that you tuned in today, because what do teams do at halftime? Teams look at what they perform, how they perform the first half of the game, what they did the first quarter, the second quarter, and then they make readjustments. They reset for the last half of the game because they want to win it. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So stay tuned. Now, this is not for only you, but this is for me also. This is something that I do in the month of June to make sure that I'm going to be on track. I'm still on track and going to meet my goals by the end of the year. If you did not look at if you have not been looking at your goals every month, and if you have not been making adjustments at least quarterly to see where you are and where you need to go, now is a great day to do it, because we're halftime in this year, right? So we have 6 more months in order to get it right and to meet those goals. So the first thing that you want to do is pull up your goals, what you wrote down in January. If you made some goals, financial, life goals, whatever they were, pull them up and take a look at them to see where you are. Sometimes you can change what you thought you were going to do to something different as things change over the year. I know I've made some adjustments because the stock market has given me some opportunities for buying some more stock, and so I shifted money there instead of into a savings account. So there's some things we need to look at to see what we still have on the list, and maybe there's something in January you thought you were going to do and now it's not so important to you, so you're going to strike that off the list. I have some of those too on my list. So it's a great time to pull out what you said you were going to do in January for this year of 2025 and take a look at it to see if it still applies, or if it's something that you're behind, a little bit behind on, if you're ahead of the schedule, or if you're right on point. June is a great time to do that because it will help you meet your goals by the end of the year. So what are we looking at in June as far as finances are concerned? I would say the first thing that I would look at, of course, I look at this on a monthly basis, is your net worth. Is it going up? Is it going down? How is that doing? How are you compared to January 1st of this year up until mid-year? How are you as far as your net worth? And we know net worth is assets minus liabilities, whatever you have left over, that is your net worth, not your self-worth. It is your net worth. And this is a great way of measuring if you're moving in the right direction, or if you're making money, if you're becoming worth more as far as your net worth, or if you're becoming less as far as your net worth. If you're turning that negative net worth into a positive net worth, now's a great time to measure that. So I would measure that, number one. I would look at my savings accounts to see what number, what figure I put down in January that I wanted to save, whether it was $100 every month or whatever it was. How am I doing, and how am I in June as far as making my goal by the end of the year? I would definitely look at that. If you have any debt whatsoever, how are you doing there? I'm looking at my mortgage statements to see what I need to maybe put a little extra money on, or if it's something that I'm right on point on. I'm looking at those to make a decision of how I need to adjust that money. So you can look at that. So we're looking at net worth, we're looking at savings, we're looking at debt, and look at your 401k. Is that an area that you may need to catch up in? Your IRA, is that an area you need to catch up in a little bit to make sure you meet whatever it is that you said that you were going to meet this year? Because we know the 401k is going toward our future, and we do not want to ignore our future, because like I said, one day we're going to retire, and one day that money is going to come into be very useful for us. So make sure we're on point with that. So those are a few things you want to measure. You may want to look at your credit score too. If you haven't pulled it, you may want to look at your credit score. You may want to pull up some insurance policies to see if that's something that you want to adjust. So there's various things that you can look at mid-year to make sure you're right on point with where you need to be financially. Another good habit to get into doing mid-year is, if you want to know really how you're spending your money, pull up your credit card statements. If you use a credit card, pull that up to see, and just look at it over the past 3 months, past 60 days, to see where is your money going to. I know a lot of mine goes to Amazon. I already know that, right? I don't have a lot of subscriptions on it, but what I am doing mid-year, what I started doing actually in the month of May, is to look at my supplements and adjust those, because I pay a ton of money for supplements. I want the highest quality supplements, and there are things that I study and people say, and my nutritionist introduced to me, and if I feel like my body is needing this, or if there's a deficiency, I'll get on that supplement. And so I'm looking at those and adjusting those. There may be 3 supplements that I'm taking that now I can go and take a multivitamin that will cover them all, and I won't have to spend that much money on buying 3 supplements versus 1. Look at, so you can take a look at that. And some of these supplements for me were on subscription, right? So they're coming in every month and I'm paying for them every month, but because they just get charged on my credit card, I pay it off. I don't really pay that close of attention to it. So that's one thing that I'm doing. As a matter of fact, last month I went in, I was going to cancel one of them because I just felt like, I can just go into the store and buy it. When I went in to cancel it, you guys, and you can try this on anything, they came back and said, we'll give you an additional 10% off. This has happened to me before. I've had subscriptions that has been cut in half because I said I wanted to get out of it. Then when I checked, this was a monthly subscription. When I checked further into one of them, that cut me down from $39 a month to $19 a month, which is pretty much half of it. When I checked more into it, if I would pay the annual fee, it would even be less than $19 a month. So that's what I did. But guess what? They're not going to step out and tell you that we're charging you this because this is what we agreed to. This is what we've always charged you. And you haven't checked with us to see if we could come down any. So anything that you have a subscription on, I would go in. If it's something that you feel like I may or may not need, go in and cancel it to see if they're going to make an adjustment on it. If they don't offer you an adjustment and you feel like you really need it, you can always, not cancel it or rejoin it, but test it out. I've been very happy with when I decide to cancel something and they drop the price for me. I'm like, maybe I should look at more things to cancel to see if they would adjust the price, because right now everybody knows how the economy is, right? And these companies like a monthly subscription coming in, even if it's $2 or $3 less than what you were paying before. It's worth that monthly subscription for them to keep it coming in, keep it, other than you just totally cutting them off. One of my subscriptions went from $19.99 a month to $17.99. $17.99 is better than no money coming in from me. So they are willing to work with you. So go out there, test them out and see what you really want, what you need to adjust, what you need to cut off totally, what you may need to cut back on. You may change your subscriptions to once every 2 months. That may help you. So just look at those and see what's right for you. Since it's mid-year, do me a favor. Hit that like button and that subscribe button, and then share the video out. I would love to have more and more subscribers come on to get this information that I'm giving you. We have grown, you guys. We grew a lot in the month of May, and so we're hitting that number. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers. That would be wonderful if I got there, and you can help me do that. So hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and then share this out so more people can have this information. Ask yourself, did you promise yourself that you were going to have a side hustle, start a business, or do something like that this year? Let me ask you, how is that going? Have you started that side hustle? Have you started that business? Have you written that book? Have you sat down and done anything moving closer to those goals? Mid-year is a great time to look at those things to see. A side hustle can bring more money into the household. So are you doing something like that? Or are you taking some extra classes, maybe to get a better raise at your current job? What are you doing to help yourself? So I want you to look at that too, because that has a lot to do with finances. First of all, if you're taking classes, you have to pay for those classes, right? But if you're taking classes, hopefully is to up level your income. And so, or that talent that you may have, that side hustle, maybe you've taken some classes so that you can start a notary business or something like that. Are you getting on that, or have you let that go on to the side? Take a look at those things that you said that you were going to do at the beginning of the year and see how much of it that still is on your list. If you don't want to do it, fine, just scratch it off and move on with life. But if there's some things that you promised yourself you're going to do that would benefit you and your family, Take a look at those, see where you are, and make sure you put those on the list starting today for the rest of the year. One other little note I want you to make sure you do is to check your W-4 if you're employed, full-time job. Check your W-4 to see if it still applies, if you still have the number of exemptions on there. Check it mid-year to see if it still applies, because you don't want a tax surprise because you didn't change it. Sometimes if people get a bonus, they'll change it to one number and then they forget to change it back, and so they'll get more because they want all of that bonus and not take anything out. But it's good that if you did get a bonus and you forgot to change it back, make sure you change it back because you want that number solid. The best thing to do is to either not owe the government anything or owe them just a little bit. But if they have your money, if you get a refund, that means they're using your money with gaining interest on your money all year long, and then you get it back at the beginning of the next year. So check your W-4 to make sure it's still accurate. If you find out that you are behind in one of your savings goals, let's say, or any of the goals, you have 6 months, right? So what you want to do is go ahead and plan out those 6 months. Say if you want to save a certain amount of money by the end of the year, but you have not even started. Whatever amount that is, calculate it out between the next 6 months. If you get paid twice a month, divide it by 12. If you only get paid once a month, divide it by 6 and know what you have to put aside. But focus on one goal maybe that you're really behind on, or something that you really want to focus on and get accomplished before the end of the year. Even if you're behind on, if you have 5 goals and you're behind on 2 or 3 of them, but you want to make sure you catch up at least on one of the 2 that you may be behind on. Focus on that goal and toward the end of the year, but make a plan. It's not going to happen automatically. You have to make a plan out. The good news is you have 6 months. You know, you didn't do it in the last 6 months, but don't worry about that. You have 6 months more. And if you want to cut your goal in half, you know, if you were going to save 1,000 by the end of the year, and now you said, you know what, I'm just going to save 500, do that. But plan it out over the next 6 months because you can get it done. You can get that goal accomplished. Now, I think I've saved the best for last. And that is, if you have things in your house that you haven't gone through, you haven't given anything away this year, now is a great time to get clothes together, to get items together and make donations. There are veterans associations you can make donations to, the Goodwill. There are shelters out there that you can make donations to. There's all kinds, the women's shelter, there's all kinds of organizations that you can make donations to, clothing, household items. You can even make monetary donations to places. But now's a great time to give, because sometimes we need to declutter and get rid of some things so that we can have more come into us, including money. Sometimes we need to release some things. If you're feeling a call to release some money to someone or some organization that you believe in, I would say now's a great time to go ahead and do that. But it's a great time to go through your closet too, to see those things that maybe you can't fit anymore. Maybe they're older, something that you don't want, or maybe you bought something new and you just haven't worn it and you know now I don't like it. There are people out there that can use those items. So now's a great time to go in, and it's mid-year, halftime. We're all making adjustments, just like the teams make adjustments. Football teams make adjustments. Baseball teams make adjustments. Basketball teams make adjustments during halftime. So now's the time to sit down, look at what happened during first half, make the adjustments that we need, whether it's on offense or defense, and go out and win the game. No game is won by halftime. The games are won by the end. When the buzzer goes off at the end of the game, that's who wins the game. What does the score say then? So let's not worry about what didn't happen the first 6 months. Let's make a check though. We want progress. We want to reset if we need to reset right now in the month of June, because it's here. This year has gone by quickly, you guys, really fast. And time waits for no one. The future is still ahead of you. And so we want to do right by our money, by our families. And now is a great time to go ahead and make that adjustment for the rest of the year. And with that, I will see you in the next video.